Good morning, students. My name is Mr. Maro Kurafo. I'm welcoming you to the second phase of this course titled Script Analysis and Interpretation. So we've been looking at earlier now. We've been looking at the um, first aspect of the course, that is script analysis. So this second phase, we're going to be treating script interpretation. Okay, so as seen on the screen, script interpretation in performance is a multifaceted process that involves analyzing, understanding, and embodying the text of a play or screenplay to create compelling and coherent performance. This process is crucial for actors, directors, and other theater practitioners as it bridges the gap between the written word and the live dynamic experience of performances. Okay, so script interpretation, is actually very deep compared to script analysis. One aspect is to analyze the written story on a script, and then the another aspect is to, give it more in-depth interpretation. Okay, so the interpretation is what will now lead to the actions when the script is well interpreted, because remember that these stories are written by human beings like you and I, right? And therefore the practitioners, the people who are professionals, will now look at it professionally, and give the right interpretations to what has been written, just like the way preachers interpret the Bible, or lecturers or tutors, they read what is on the material and then interpret. This is how it is in scripts also. So analysis, it will also follow with interpretation and in-depth a part of it, to bring out life to what is on the screen. So these are the different steps in script interpretation. One is understanding the text. And this understanding of text involves first literal comprehension. The first step in script interpretation is understanding the literal meaning of the text. It includes grasping the plot, character, setting, and dialogue. Actors, directors must read the script multiple times to ensure they fully comprehend the story. So understanding the story is this story the way it is number one step, without trying to add any thing on it. Just understanding the story is the first step. Then the second one is contextual analysis. Understanding the historical, cultural, and social context of the story is the next step. After total comprehension, then the story will now be analyzed or interpreted based on historical and cultural and social context. The context of the story is very, very important, and it is being interpreted. Then another step is character analysis. Character analysis. This involves trying to analyze characters, biography, could be actor, actresses, a detail of their biographies, character objectives and obstacles, the character has been through, what the character wants, objectives, and what characters what stands in the way of the character. Those are obstacles. Is crucial. This drives the character's action and decision throughout the play. So character objectives and obstacle is part of the analysis. After biography, talk about character's objective and obstacles, and character relationships. This one has to do with understanding the dynamics between characters. It's very, very important. It includes, their history, power dynamics, and emotional connections. This relationship influence how characters interact, respond to each other. So all of these are on the script, and then it is part of character analysis. Okay, so remember that these are steps. I've said the first one is understanding the text, then two, character analysis. And under character analysis, what is being concentrated upon? You talk about character biography, you talk about character objectives and obstacles, and then thirdly, character relationships. Like I've said, different characters, being actors and actresses, found themselves in place of relationships on the script. It could be family relationship, could be communal tie, it could be colleagues, it could be fellow students or peer groups, could be different areas of relationship as written in the story, could be confidence, and therefore the relationship will not justify how actions will be performed, and then interpretations based on the level of place of relationship will be taken note of. Then thematic exploration, which is a third step in interpretation. Thematic exploration. Now, first is to identify themes. Under thematic exploration step, the first thing we look at here is to identify themes. The script themes are the underlying message or central ideas the playwright wishes to convey. This could be about love, power, identity, justice, etc. Understanding the themes helps making interpretative choices that align with the play core messages. So theme, is an intention underlining the story. Every story has a theme, a message, a central idea. So the writer of a script already has developed, designed an intention to communicate. Okay, an intention to communicate, and then he will now put it in a story. Okay, so in interpretation, the thematic exploration or discovery is very, very important. Identifying theme of the story. Okay, is it all about power, trying to show how people quest for power, how people pursue power in the society, or is it talking about scientific inventions, or is it talking about societal, wickedness? Is it talking about inequality, class struggle? What is the theme? Or social identity. So all of these are themes, and then this is emphasized in the story. Then subtext. Often what is not said is as important as what is said. Actors must explore the subtext, the underlying meanings, emotions behind the dialogue. Okay, so in script, there are text and there are subtext. Sometimes they are written with different fonts, sizes, and all of that styles. So exploring this is also very, very important because each subtext has an action that follows it, an intention. And therefore in interpretation we look at these different formations because they are done intentionally, and then interpretation will also be according to how they have been formed and designed. Then the fourth one is directorial vision. Directorial vision is the next step. Conceptual framework. Under this, the director has to form a conceptual framework This is the director's interpretation of the script shapes an overall production. And then these also include decisions on the setting, period, tone, and style of performance. Okay, so the director will have a total vision, a total sighting of the script. Okay, because the script now is the movie, that is about to be performed. Let me just use this narrative that um explaining a script as a movie or performance, real life performance on paper. Okay, so whatever that is on paper is what will be acted. Then the director will be able to have the total understanding of what will be done, what the story and everything is all about through directorial vision. Okay, so this will form a conceptual framework for actions. Then blocking and staging. The director interpretation also influences the physical movement and positioning of actors on stage, as blocking, and overall staging of scenes. Usually this helps in visually conveying the script's themes and emotions. So, like we said, this step, directorial vision, involve conceptual framework, that's understanding, the whole setup, what the whole performance would look like on the script, and as well, script interpretation will also help in directorial vision in the area of blocking, trying to do the setup and position actors and actresses where they're supposed to be, and then as well as getting everything in order based on script. Then actors interpretation. The script has to be well interpreted by actors. In doing this, we talk about emotional truth. In actors interpretation, emotional truth has to be there. Emotional truth means that the actors will show the true emotion. There's a way emotions are being faked, and it will not really make everything look real, make the drama of film look real. So according to the script, actors will play the right emotion. Sad emotion has to be sad emotion. Happy emotions has to be happy emotions. So everything has to be in line with the script. Then physicality and voice. The physicality and voice interpretation also involves making choices about the character's physical, that's a posture, gestures, and movement, and vocal quality, that's the tone, pitch, reading. These choices should reflect the character's personality, background, and emotional state. So, in actors' interpretation of scripts, these are considered emotion, physicality, and voice. As we've seen, physicality involves posture, gestures, and movement. Then the voice tone, everything should represent, the character's experience, character's position, character's relationship, or where the character is positioned on the script. So his actions, his emotions, his voice tone, and all of that should represent the role that is he or she is playing. Then improvisation and exploration. During rehearsals, actors when often experiment with different interpretations of their lines and actions. This exploration This exploratory process helps discovering new dimensions of the character and scene. So, still on actors' interpretation of the scene, they are also allowed to improvise. Sometimes they play out of the script a little, okay, to show their own, to include their own uh, experience, their own skill, their own idea, their own actions, which can be accepted or which may fit in better than what is on the script. Then collaborative process is another step. Collaborative process is also another step. Um, Under this, we have assemble work. Theater is collaborative art form. Actors, directors, designers, and technicians work together to bring the script to life. Each member's interpretation contributes to the overall production. So, collaborative process involves, team members, actors, directors, designers, technicians, all coming to work together because they are members of the creative team. And what are they working on? They are all looking at the script to do perfect interpretations of it. All right, because they're also part of the script. It's not only actors or directors. The designers are part of the script. They need to study the script. They need to interpret it, and it will now help them to do their technical designs. Then feedback and adjustment is also part of collaborative process. Throughout the rehearsal process, interpretations are refined based on feedback from director and fellow actors. The iterative process ensures that the performance is cohesive and aligned with production vision. So during rehearsal, there are repetitions, okay, and then an adjustment is being made as rehearsals goes on. The director will be getting feedbacks as well as the actors and all the members of the creative team. So as they continue to iterate and repeat the rehearsal process, they continue to fine tune. That's why rehearsals are not just for movies are not just done once; it's done continuously, to get the best experiences. Then audience consideration is also another important step and aspect of script interpretation. Engagement and communication. The ultimate goal of script interpretation is to engage the audience and effectively communicate the story and theme. Performers must consider how the choice will be received by the audience and strive to create meaningful and impactful experience. So in the story in the script interpretation also considers audience because if the drama is on stage drama, the audience will physically be watching, and then how the audience will be carried along, is will also be looked into in the interpretation of scripts, and the actions that will, help the audience to be participants, kind of. So we consider the audience too, especially in the area of sound and the pitch, the tone of the actors, and all of that. So audience are part of this whole process. Then still on audience consideration, we also have cultural sensitivity in contemporary theater. Okay, cultural sensitivity. This has to do with increasing emphasis on cultural sensitivity and representation. Interpretation must be mindful of diverse perspectives and avoid perpetuating stereotypes or bias. Okay, so in script interpretation, still on audience, audience remember that these people have a culture, okay, have a social identity, different cultural orientations and backgrounds, and they are all watching either physically or through the screen. And then actions, our actions, the actions of the actors or the team of the movie or drama may mar the whole intentions, because if a team you know contradicts a culture, if a team or a story is written in such a way that it affects the culture of the people, spells uh, wrong interpretation of a cultural heritage or a part of symbolism, so to say. It doesn't really symbolize or project the right value of people's culture. The, the members of the audience who belong to that culture may not really find it appealing, because people watch movies, and these people that watch movies belong to different cultural backgrounds, and therefore interpretation of script will help to solve this problem, so that you don't contradict people's value, or you don't paint people's culture in a very bad light. Then feedback and adjustment throughout the rehearsal. Okay, oh, sorry, I was trying to explain the next aspect of culture, and I mistakenly was talking about the previous one. So still on audience consideration. Okay, so remember we are looking at script interpretation under audience consideration. So engagement and communication is key. Cultural sensitivity is also key. I think that is the point where we had to stop on audience consideration. Right? So audience consideration is the point, and then under this we've seen engagement and communication, and then cultural sensitivity. Okay, so looking at the next point is a contextual versus actual approaches. Sorry if it is not well pronounced. Um, okay, so here has to do with contextual fidelity. Some productions aim for contextual fidelity, adhering closely to the script as written by the playwright. The approach respects the original text and its intention. Okay, so in interpretation, we also look at the contextual fidelity. The man or woman who wrote the script, has the originality. You can't take it away from him. And most cases, the playwright pens down stories based on experience, you know, personal experience, or what the society, his immediate society, have experienced. For example, during the colonial era and all of that, a lot of playwrights, wrote plays based on the situation of that time, and those write-ups are actually coming from the realm of originality. So even when you're interpreting, also know that you don't need to deviate from the originality. And then the second one audio interpretation. It has to do with other productions taking this approach where the director or creative team imposes a unique vision or interpretation on the script. This can result in innovative or unconventional productions. So this is just like the opposite of contextual fidelity. Away from the originality, there is also need to fine tune because the original author of the script can also commit some blunder and error or mistakes. Sometimes our personal experiences could pose limitations too, or may not be compliant with the realities of the time. So remember that movie and drama and all of that is a creative niche. So the director has, the right to alter, if they feel that the script is not well, designed. Even the actors can also make some little changes. Then we have a historical and contemporary practices as a step or part of script interpretation. We consider historical and contemporary practices. Okay, so historical context is considered as well as contemporary trends on the storylines. So it has to represent either historical or contemporary. Then ethical considerations. Here has to do with respect for text. While creative interpretation is encouraged, it is important to respect the integrity of scripts and playwrights. The representation and diversity is still under ethical consideration. What should be done, the right thing that should be done. Okay, so under this, we have ethical interpretation also involves considering issues of representation and diversity. These include casting choices, portrayal of characters, and the handling of sensitive themes. Okay, so that diversity and inclusion is very, very important because in stories, people are trying to, see their culture, and values represented in drama, in movie, and all of that. So trying to include all these diversities, makes the movie or drama, more audience friendly. Okay, so moving forward, let's move to importance of script interpretation. Importance of script interpretation. So, what are the importance of script interpretation? Okay, also, on script analysis. On script analysis, though we're looking at the importance of both script analysis and interpretation, right? Uh, starting with script analysis, these are some of the importance. It helps actors. All right, so I repeat that again. It helps actors, directors, and designers grab the plot, themes, and structure. Okay, so it helps these people to understand the plot, the theme, and structure of the drama of the movie. Okay, so that is what it does in the analysis. That helps to clarify narratives and key events. Another second importance of a script analysis is that it helps in character development. Okay, reveals character motivations, relationship, as well as emotional journey. Third one is it helps in identifying subtext. So script analysis will help to show subtext, highlights what not said directly, hidden intentions, emotions, and conflicts. So it will help to identify subtext as well as bring depth and nuance to dialogue and actions. Before is that it will help in guiding creative choices, informs staging, pacing, blogging, and design elements. To also help to ensure artistic decisions align with the script intention. So these are importance importance of script analysis. Then in the area of a script interpretation, it brings the script to life. Okay, it brings the script to life. Very, very important. Engages audience emotionally and intellectually. Two is that it will help in personal and artistic vision, allows directors and actors to infuse their unique perspective into the work, as well as encourages creativity and innovation. Thirdly, is that script interpretation will help in cultural and contextual relevance by way of uh, updates and adapting to scripts to modern context or different cultures. Right, so in that area, it will help to bring out cultural and contextual relevance through scripting. We're able to project our cultural relevance. Then another importance of script interpretation is audience connection to help you know um in this light. Script interpretation shapes tone, mood, and style, key to re- resonating with viewers, helps communicate the core message directly. Remember that drama, movies, and all of that are watched by audience, and this audience, they want to establish a connection, you know, to what is being acted, because it will help to pass a message. To help to pass in, they learn, they get educated, they get entertained from movies and all of that. So proper interpretation will help the script to establish that connection when acted and when viewed by members of the audience. All right, so we stop here. We stop here. Remember that this course has been on script analysis and interpretation. So with all what we've done on this course, I believe you will be able to pen down a good storyline. You'll be able to do proper script analysis and then interpretations. Okay, so at this point, I want to say um, that you shall have a blessed day by the grace of God. And remember that my name is Mr. Mara Okorafort. Do not forget to indicate your username as well as the center location where you are listening from. So till then, I want to say do have a blessed moment. Bye bye for now.